Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen, in the goddamn refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.
I like it. I like hearing when people take risks.
I fucking like that hat though. God damn.
That's a good hat, man.
Thanks, dude.
Para
all day.
At Pretty Done on Instagram.
Was that a legit para hat?
Yeah.
Are we starting?
Yeah.
All right, Adam at Pretty Done, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm pretty good. We had letting everybody know who's tuning in. We did this podcast. I think this was it the last podcast of 2019 that we did?
Yeah, technically.
So we did it.
Besides my juicy steak.
It was a good hour and a half podcast. Really, really good. I loved it, man. And unfortunately, we had a computer crash issue where the video file did not get recorded.
88 episodes of never happening. Probably more than that technically, because the episodes we never released.
And episodes that you and I did on our own never happened.
So now that's the whole thing we talked about in all of our podcasts. You live and learn, and now we have redundancy.
But you can't let it hold you back, and that's why we are back today with episode 89.
Thank you for dealing with this.
Of the Morning Dinner Podcast.
Round 2, 2020. I'm here. We're here.
Mr. Adam, for people who are tuning in and don't know, can you explain who you are and what you do out here?
Sure. I'm Adam. I have an art brand called Pretty Done, where I do murals, logos, paintings, commissions, clothing. I paint on everything and anything pretty much. It's really a wild style of abstract, pop art, freestyle art. Colorful, sometimes just white and black, and it's just a really fun outlet, creative outlet for me to create fun-looking visual art for people and myself. And I DJ, I produce music, I do photography, lots of creative stuff that I do every day, all day. So I'm here to talk to you guys about it all.
Dope.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys agree with the fact that there's like a left brain, right brain kind of, where I think the right brain is more, is the right brain that's more creative and the left brain that's more like
left brain's creative.
Left brain's
right
creative.
Brain's more like organized and like
business.
Yeah.
Do you
calculation.
Are you agree with that?
I'm not left-handed.
Oh, okay.
No. I know lefties are definitely more artistic, or they have a better,
something like that.
They have some type of.
But what if you're ambidextrous?
Ambidextrous.
I'm ambidextrous. What is it? I'm terrible. I did this shit with the word.
We need a dictionary, everybody.
Dyslexic.
Oh yeah, he tried to say dyslexic in one episode.
I said Dick Lexus.
You said Dick Lexus.
That sounds like a male stripper.
Hey man,
Coming
there you
up,
go.
Dick Lexus.
Dick Lexus to the stage.
AVN's in town. So how did you get? Because it's very creative based, right?
Well, hold on. Let's say the left and right brain, right? Like,
right.
Yeah, there's definitely, like, that's science, I think, right? Like, they do tests on creative people versus, business-minded, number-minded people. And I think it's factual of what side of your brain you're using the most and what activates those type of neurological connections to create, imagination versus analytical data. And I definitely lean towards the creative side, just naturally and through years of practice and work. So
do you notice that you sleep on one side versus the other? Hey, I think I'm a little loud actually compared to Adam. Can you turn him up a little bit?
Adam, talk real quick.
What's going on?
There we go. I just seem like I'm very overpowering. Sorry.
Dog, you're always overpowering. Your voice is very overpowering.
You wanted it to be louder, I remember.
Yeah. I wanted that power in my voice, that bass.
You wanted that bass.
I wanted that bass.
You got that bass.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, so I asked you, do you sleep on one side versus the other? Like,
I've actually trained myself to sleep on my back, but
I can't do it.
It's good for your spine.
Yeah, it's really good. It's so hard though, because my body, like, I'll wake up and I'll be like, the best thing to do is tuck yourself in. So if you tuck yourself in, you won't move. The thing about that is you get super hot.
Yeah.
So it's like that double-edged sword.
Just got
a little baked potato.
I just got a weighted. I just got a weighted blanket. I couldn't do it.
Hell no.
Like Tempur-Pedic or weighted?
It's weighted, so it weighs 15 pounds.
It has like glass beads in it or something.
What's the purpose?
It's it's supposed to help with anxiety.
Yeah, people like to feel like held.
Yeah,
tight.
Yeah, and
so
also just it's supposed to help you fall asleep faster. And like I get it, it works, but it's just like, man, it gets me way too hot. Way too hot. And also like it's just a mess because like when you roll around in bed and you can fight the 15 pounds. Like all the weight of the blanket goes to one side because the beads roll around.
Is it noisy? Like
it's not noisy. It's just like kind of inconvenient.
Okay.
But for somebody, it definitely works. The reason I asked if you slept on one side versus the other is because like it was actually kind of a stupid question because I was thinking like
the brain.
So you're like more left brain. Do you think your brain's just heavier on the left side?
No, I don't think it works like that. Everybody would be lopsided. They would have like a weird little head.
I like sleeping on my left side, man.
Yeah.
For some reason, that's like the one position where I can actually always fall asleep.
I usually kind of start left and go right, and then kind of eventually get tired of that, and like then I go to my back. It's like it's a weird ritual.
Yeah. Here's the weird thing: I fall asleep on my left side, bro, like on this side, but when I wake up, I'm on my right side. What does that say about me?
You're dreaming, bro.
Yeah,
you're dreaming.
You have
heavy.
too much anxiety, bro.
Do you ever take inspiration from your dreams when you do your art?
Yes, I guess. Not. I don't want to say like directly. I can't think of like a certain circumstance where I done that. But dreams are weird. It's I always listen. Obviously, I listen to Joe Rogan a lot, and he's a big inspiration of mine. And I always say Rogan's my religion because I've been listening to him since the beginning of his podcast, and he's just taught me so many life lessons and things about discipline and cutting out the bullshit and being the best version of you that you can be and all those type of things. But he always says that no one wants to die, but we shut ourselves off every night and we don't think twice about it.
Isn't that crazy?
It's wild, right?
Damn.
And we need that to survive and to function properly for balance and everything. Like health wise, if you don't sleep and dream, I mean, you could really hurt yourself, and like it's super damaging.
Like I did in the other past 2 days. I've been only getting like 4 hours of sleep.
Oh wow!
And I like literally like got home and I had like my body felt heavy. Like when you get that tingly feeling, like falling asleep, like your whole body. My whole body felt like that, and I was like, dude, I gotta go to sleep. I laid in my bed and I instantly I don't remember getting in my bed. That's how like tired I was, and that's how important sleep is for some people, I guess. Because I swear, there's some people who can do it without it. I'm like, how do you do that?
Well, what do they do? They can't be doing anything like high brain output. You know what I mean? You need to recharge.
Or they're just doing a bunch of cocaine.
Or probably doing a bunch
partying.
Yeah, I mean to like operate at a high functioning level. I mean, you need sleep and a dream.
I guess if it's like super. I don't want to count them out, but like if you're farming and whatnot, it's very binary, and it's like it's all about strength. You know what I mean? But yeah, for sure, creative, because a lot of people. And that's a good lead up to a question: is do you force your creativity, or when you hit that mental block, do you just like kind of like step away and be like, I'm gonna go do something else and get my mind away from this for now, or do you just try to push through it? And does that make you tired?
Yeah, I think I did that in my first workshop this week, and I was talking to these kids, and one of the questions they asked me was, do I ever get creative blocks? And I said no. Sometimes like after like drawing or painting for many hours, like 4 hours, I would say, is like usually when I kind of starting to feel a little dull.
Get like, bored too.
You need something to like just break up the
monotony and all that.
Because it becomes so. You just get sucked in, and it just becomes like you're numb a little bit,
right?
Yeah.
And that's where you just switch it up and you go to something else, and that's why I mean 4 to 5 hours is like the max of doing anything. I think creative. After that, you just need to get food, go run, go outside, do an errand, or do something to reset yourself and kind of get your brain off of that, and like just counterbalance all that blood flow and energy and thought processing that is so intense with creativity that you just got to counteract that, because you just become like kind of lopsided mentally, like, and but no, I don't really get creative blocks. I would say like I said, sometimes I'll just max out and be like, I'm painting for 4 hours. Okay, now I need to go clean my living room and then cook dinner and then go to a
So you've built your discipline up and everything.
Yeah, and you feel it. You start, I feel it, because creativity comes in waves, I think. And
how do you mean in waves?
Like sometimes like I could just, I'm like, I gotta get some pen and paper right now. Or I need a piano.
Inspiration hits you when you don't expect it. Like you're just like, whoa.
It's a feeling. Idea. It's thoughts. It's feelings. It's it could be little things that you just for doing it for so many years, it's like kind of listening to your body. If you work out or do sports or anything, you just know, like, okay, I want to run. Okay, I need to rest. Okay, I want to do box jumps. I want to lift. I want to, whatever it is. You get those, you get those signals from yourself. Also, what you eat, how you sleep, and are you doing all the things you need to do? All those things accumulate and give you kind of check marks and pointers in the direction to go. And for years I would go through different flows, like where I would do art for months, and then like I would take a month or two off and just produce lots of music and DJ and scratch and do all this stuff, and then come back to the art. So I would do a lot of flip-flopping for years.
I'm the same.
And now it's like the art has demanded my attention so much, from like the momentum and projects and everyone, a lot of people are just getting on board now. And I think it's awesome because that allows me to kind of stay in the ooze of the art and keep growing it and working on ideas and experimenting. And I don't get tired of it because it's exciting. I'm always doing new things. That's a big thing for any artist, evolution.
Right.
Never doing the same thing for too long is so important, I think, for anyone that's trying to grow as a person, as an artist, and also develop their work to the level that they desire.
So how do you change it up? Like, what is your workflow? You know what I mean? And what has been something new that you've been doing?
I'm very random in everything I do. If it's music, art, working out, DJing, everything I do is I'm very just eclectic as a person, just through everything I've done, and just that's what inspires me, variety. But I've always tried new mediums, new pens, new types of painting styles. Like lately I've been doing this kind of freestyle abstract line work, where it's literally like just scribble, and this kind of free flow in it. Where
it's away from like the characters and all that. It's just more of just, I love those too.
And it's like so quick and like spontaneous. Like I don't even know where I'm going. It's kind of like, I've never surfed before, but it's kind of like surfing with ink, where you're just flowing. And I would love to do a demonstration for you guys if we had another camera. But,
I know, that'd be so tight.
It's funny you would say that as a camera pointer in the corner, just looking down at your.
We'll set it up. We gotta do another one too.
We had a little ghetto cam, actually, a little handheld one.
This would be perfect. Like boom. I don't know. Probably be hard though.
Yeah, that would be tight.
It's pretty light. It's a little tiny little camera like that big.
It's a little like VHS, old school camera.
Oh wow.
They're so corny, but they work. It looks terrible.
I liked it when we used it though. It added like a third dimension to the podcast because everything.
We never
so
used
clean.
it. Oh yeah, we did use it.
Yeah, we did use it. We used it on one episode.
Because we used to have a spinning wheel, and then we were gonna start doing it because we were like, how can we get more viewers? But we stopped it. But we had like things on it that were like, no, we had more like, you have to prank call somebody or do something every 30 minutes just to break up the monotony. But it was just like, I was like, man, people are gonna feel awkward with some of these. So I was just like,
you
I don't
never
have the
know who you're gonna
confidence.
have who's gonna be comfortable.
And they're gonna
with
be
it,
like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want that. It's like,
an idea I had for a podcast, like just a little element that I think would be cool for guests, is like if you have a little bucket of like just like different words on little pieces of paper, and they pick out like a thing, and it's like a question, like a random question that maybe you guys have pre-thought of or used before. I wanted to do that for a podcast because
I saw AD, right? AD is elevated from 90. He used to be at 98.5, and he used to do his own little, not a podcast, but like for 98 or 97.5, one of those radio stations. He used to invite a lot of local talent into a studio, and he would do the like kind of like a podcasty kind of thing, and that would be something that he would do. Actually, he would have a bucket, and one of the most creative ones I saw is when he would have a rapper in the studio. He would like have a children's book and say, "You got to rap this to me."
Or sing this to me.
Yeah, or sing this to me, like that, But I also like, I love the idea of adding a third element to the show, but I don't want to do anything that's like someone else has already done, because then it just feels like I'm just doing what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like for example, like for the morning dinner, I wanted to do something food based, but then hot ones. Like people are gonna think of hot ones. You know what I mean? So it's like, dang man, you can't win.
But there's way more food than just chicken wings, man. You could do you could do
bugs,
sour food.
I'm kidding.
I don't know. True. You could do bitter food. You could do shitty food.
Like, cause like that's the thing I wanted. It's like you answer this question that's kind of deep, or you have to eat one of this like bad stuff. But I'm like, people are gonna say no. It's like, it's just.
But just because Hot Ones did that doesn't mean all food is off the table.
That's true. I mean,
that's just like one corner of it.
I think I pretty much mean like the concept of it too, though, because like
how to escalate,
the kind of like the not the escalation of things, but also like putting your guest in like an uncomfortable or weird situation where like they have, you know, it brings more out of them, right?
Right.
And right after Hot Ones dropped, Kevin Hart started doing his cold bath, the ice bath one.
Interviews.
It was the exact. But I'm pretty sure concept,
lie, they've had stuff like that before, even Hot Ones. But Hot Ones just did it the best.
And I'll go back to this. There's no such thing as an original thought.
Yeah. So that's the other thing. You can't fight yourself
that's
over
subjective.
that.
Yeah, because if you think about it, everything that you've done has come from somewhere.
Maybe.
Right? And if it came from you, how did it get to you?
I guess it's also that point.
How did we get here?
How did we get here?
Because it's also the point. Like, even if you copied something and it looked almost identical, it's not. All the way down to like the nitty gritty, if you want to be technical as well. So that means everything's different.
That's like if you and I both draw the same character,
like
the
we
same
copy
face,
exactly what Adam shows us on the thing.
Yeah, my character might be a little chubbier,
a little bit different.
Yeah,
and that's human nature.
Yeah,
right. It's like everyone's hand and mind and eye coordination is. Everyone has their own way of it. So, and that's what I think is so cool about. First of all, live art, like performance art, which is another thing that I do, and I love like painting in front of people and watching it come to life and watch other people see it come to life because they don't know where I'm going, and that's really interesting because not a lot of artists have that ability. You know, a lot of artists do studio stuff where it takes hours. They paint and brush and shadow and
nothing on the spot.
Well, nothing just like. How do I put it? Like as
I was gonna
fluid and like rapid. Like I could do a whole mural, like I could do a whole painting like in 10 minutes. You know, like that. A lot of artists like it takes weeks or just depends on your style. Years, yeah. So
do you think that could be something that comes down to the fact of like people who are too picky about their own work and they're like, oh no, it's got to be perfect, versus someone who could just be like, I'm gonna accept this painting for what it is, do my best, and not second guess myself.
It's part of that, but it's also their style of art and their process.
Okay.
Also, like where they are as an artist, like they might be 2 years in or 20 years in, or I don't know, you know, wherever they are in their journey, they might not have the rapidness, the rapid work ethic of getting the idea out and completing it.
I don't know if I ever asked you. Do you know who David Garibaldi is?
No, I don't know who that
is. He does live performance art where he'll like basically like paint. I think he just uses like actual like brushes to paint his stuff. But what he does is he start with a big ass canvas, and then he'll do a painting, dancing the whole time he's doing it.
It's upside down, isn't it?
And it's upside down. Like he'll do it upside down or do little details.
Oh yeah,
and then,
he's a b-boy.
Yeah, is he?
I think so.
And then he'll like flip it upside down, and then like
he's local.
No.
It's that
big.
type of paint style though. It's like, you know, you're doing that. I know what you're talking about. But
that's
like,
what I think of when I think of performance art, or you know.
That's definitely a performance art. He's quick. You know, the thing about performance art, you have to be quick because people don't want to stand there for an hour and watch a painting unfold. Like, you know, you're over here like doing little details, and that's not
especially
intriguing.
with this society nowadays.
Yeah, the attention, you know, you want to keep people's attention and keep it exciting and very like vivid, I think. So with my stuff, it's like, like doing characters, like it's wild because like I always do different ones. And there's like these aliens, these creatures, these monsters, these funky looking little things. It's just so fun, man.
That's crazy, man. Well, one of the things that I wanted to go back to, because you mentioned earlier, but then Chuck asked the question.
Sorry.
You mentioned that you did like DJ and you did photography, you did art, all that stuff. Do you think that kind of like, does that make you a better artist at the end of the day? Or do you sometimes wish like, man, I wish I only would focus on one thing because then I would be 10 times greater if I only did that. You know, because there's people who think that way where it's like, if I only did
it's like 100% into one thing.
If I only did podcasting, I could do 10 podcasts a week versus only 1 or 2 every month, you know?
Yeah, that's, you know, some people think that like, you know, if you spread yourself too thin, you can't be successful because you're doing all these things, juggling and this and that. I mean, it's all about what works for you. There's no right or wrong, I think. You know, if you have like for me, I have multiple passions. I don't just love art. I love music. I love producing and writing music. I love photography. I love basketball. I love sneakers. So, you know, all these things, like, they all counterbalance each other, and I think it adds balance to me and kind of satisfies my creativity, because if I only did the same thing constantly, that would exhaust that muscle. For me personally, I mean, some people can do that and feel satisfied. For me, I love, like I said, variety. I like more than just one thing. So I'm happy I found those things early and dedicated my life to them, because, you know, a lot of people bullshit and don't take action and go after it and, you know, put the reps in and the hours and try to make these, you know, dreams happen, because at the end of the day, no one could do it for you, and nothing happens overnight. Like we said in the last podcast, I got lost.
The lost
episode.
We have a whole like lost.
We get the audio, but we don't get the video.
It's all good.
Actually, I don't think we have the audio anymore.
We're on a new ride. We're on a new ride. We're good.
See, gotta start fresh. New.
Hey man, you don't let nothing hold you back, man.
Yeah, past is a past.
Nothing holds me back.
You gotta leave it behind.
Yeah.
You gotta look and laugh.
So I think it's about what works for you, and if you have more than one passion, like, go after all your passions. That's nothing. There's no rules. Like,
because I think there's inspiration in everything too,
Yes.
and that's why it's like, I tell people, I'm just like, just try it and do it, because you might take inspiration from it that can help you in that field. And like, skateboarding got me into a lot of underground music, you know what I mean? And then that traveled into me getting into like DJing and just music producing, you know, because it's like, damn, beats sound so tight, sampling sounds so tight, and that got me into that, and that got me into more actually art, you know, because that's when I started getting into like street style and all that, because I loved how skaters dressed, and then I got into Nike and all that, and I seen how they do things, and then I seen how they branded, and that led me to my graphic design, like trying to figure out more in the branding world.
And skateboarding, you know, I've never skateboarded, but I've always wore skateboarding clothing and loved the aesthetic of it. Comfortable, cool style, cool graphics, just chill, lay back. You know, everything about it is just, I love it. And that world of skateboarding is, you know, that has blossomed so many things in pop culture and streetwear and street art and all these you know, logos and all these things that are so normal now, but a lot of it stems from skateboarding, obviously. From, you know, there's so many companies and people that have led it to where it is today, but that whole world is like so inspiring. I mean, even from, like you just said, Nike, like, for them, you know, the Nike SBs I was into them like early.
That was a crazy ass era.
Yeah. When they,
just all the dunks.
Early 2000s, like 2002, I think it was when the first SBs came out, and I was obsessed with them. That was before.
What does SB stand for?
People said skateboarding or Sandy Bodecker, which was the founder of Nike SB. And he just passed away last year.
Oh, rest in peace.
And he was like the heart and soul of Nike SB, and he just a Nike legend.
I gotta look at what this looks like. I've never seen a Nike SB. I don't recall.
You don't remember SB?
I was never a.
I'm pretty sure you've seen people.
How dare
there's
you.
so many.
I had Skechers. Does that count?
Oh my god!
You know the one.
Are we talking right now?
He still wears Skechers.
Oh my goodness!
Hey man, it's all good.
It's all good. Yeah.
I was gonna say because I don't think a lot of people, because like once again it's hard going back because we lost so much audio and talk. But what is your biggest mural you've done?
The biggest mural would be this one I did for Life is Beautiful in 2017. It's on 7th and Carson, downtown Las Vegas. And it's still there. You could go check it out, take some photos.
Is that one colored?
Tag me. Yeah, colored.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That one is that one took me the longest. It took me a couple weeks.
Damn.
On and off. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't there like every day.
Spray paint or like
spray
painting?
paint and lots of layering and colors that, you know, I just designed it on the spot. Started with some simple shapes and just kept layering, you know, eyes and noses and hair and mouths and all these little things. And
do you have a photo of it real quick?
Yeah, I have tons of photos.
Can I see it?
Sure.
And we'll pop it up on the screen if you're able to send me the file or like the photo.
I think it's on Instagram. Is it on Instagram?
It's
Oh,
on my website, Instagram. Yeah.
It'll pop up.
Yeah.
Because
My website has like the professional photos.
Hey, real quick, is that a Nike SB right there?
Yeah, that's just like
one of the
that's a
SBs.
newer.
It looks like a Vans, beefed up Vans shoe.
Type
no,
in,
that's the Janowskis, aren't they?
yeah, those are
Isn't that-
Janowskis. Type in Nike Dunk SB Flash.
Yeah.
Or Shark or Gino, Futura.
It was like a whole
Oh
era.
damn!
It was a whole
I
era.
did have a pair of these.
It was the beginning of
Yeah, bro.
those
Like
are
they
the
had a whole
OGs.
bunch of. So they had like they did collabs with people. They had like some of those still go for like 25,000 and shit.
Well, yeah. Well, that's there's
Those
very
crazy
few
ones.
go like the Paris's.
The money one.
so-
What's the one with the currency?
Floam.
Yeah, I seen
Futura.
somebody with them, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, that's with Futura. You know Futura, right?
Yeah.
2000. So OG.
There's like
they
the
look
Quasimodo ones that if. Yeah, those are like they only made them for everybody in Stone Throws, I think.
Mhm.
So if you have those,
They're pretty fly, man.
they're probably fake. No, I'm just kidding.
So that's like the first edition. That was before like SB was even really a thing.
Oh really?
So what are dunks? SB dunks.
So dunks are like an old Nike silhouette. Actually, I think it was meant for basketball back
Yeah,
in
because
the,
it sounds
yeah, Nike dunks. So it was, I think it was like maybe I think they came out late 80s, early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of skateboarders used them because they were based off the Jordan. The Jordan 1 was based off of them. So they used the same sole and the same design. So those two shoes, if you put them next to each other, they really overlap a lot design-wise because a lot of the elements from the Dunk are on the Jordan 1. Or it might be vice versa. I forget which one came first, but they came right around the same time.
You're gonna have some shoehead get so mad right
I
now.
think it was the Dunks, though.
They're gonna comment
I think the Dunks were.
"Oh man, he don't know what he talking about."
Is it
Motherfucker.
Nike or Nike? Because I've heard people say Nike.
Who says Nike?
People outside of the United
Oh,
States.
okay. I guess you can do that.
Yeah.
Like everybody in Europe, Nike.
It's like Ari and
oh,
Ari.
you've got a new pair of Nikes on. That's how they say it.
Yeah, maybe that's their slang.
Could be accent.
Pretty sure it's Nike.
Or do we have the accent?
However you want to look at it.
We gotta find. Isn't the founder American?
Is the E silent?
What?
Is the founder in America?
Oh, yeah. Oregon.
Oh,
Pretty
okay. Well, it's definitely Nike then.
Nike for sure.
It ain't
Then.
Nike. Stupid Europeans.
I mean, it's like Ari.
I'm
and
like
Ari.
a Nike nerd, dude. I know so much about Nike.
Dang, you said Oregon. That's crazy.
Phil Knight.
It is Oregon. Yeah, that's true.
Crap, man. Did I interrupt what you guys were talking about? Because I think I had a question.
Yeah,
but-
something with the murals, and then like you're gonna show the photo.
Oh yeah,
and-
have you shown me yet? You didn't show me, right? The mural. that
Oh, I
you
thought you said just you'll pull it up after. I thought.
Oh
sorry.
yeah, I could do that.
I hate you so much, Keem.
Wait, so what came first, man? Because you talk about doing photography, DJing, art, all that stuff. What came first?
What came first? I would say. I mean, I've always been into art and graphics and logos and characters.
Is your family is your family more a creative family, or is it?
Yeah, a little bit. I would
Okay.
say. But I've always like had an eye for logos and characters and cartoon stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I never like desired to like pursue art like as an artist, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But in college is when I took graphic design and darkroom photography. So I did that for a few semesters and dropped out for DJing because it was just slow paced and it was expensive and it wasn't where I was mentally.
You started DJing when?
2007.
Damn.
Yeah, DJ AM was the person that inspired me to start DJing, and so yeah, I got obsessed with DJing, and I was like, you know what, I could do graphic design and photography my own way and my own terms eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But DJing is really like taking over my brain and kind of what I want to focus on right now, and like I want to get obsessed with that. So I became obsessed with that and dropped out of college, and did that for 3-4 years, and then moved here.
And were you getting gigs and whatnot? Like
Yeah,
were you trying to
I was doing gigs, doing all types of whatever parties, all types
house
of things,
parties and all that.
bars, house parties, private events, clubs.
I'm glad you dropped out, man.
Everything.
No one should ever go to college for photography.
Damn.
Well, I'm
True,
saying,
true.
especially in that year, I'm thinking like 2005, 2006, 2007, that era.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of schools that'll teach you photography without you paying a pretty penny for it. Like most of the schools were either private or it was a very expensive program.
Yeah, I was going to a community college, and darkroom photography, as most photographers know, is very expensive and slow process, like time consuming.
Like you gotta really be invested into that, man.
It's an old school thing, and
yeah.
like it's meant for like more mature photographers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've always loved photography, graphic design, art, and obviously music. And then so I'm kind of trying to, or tell you guys what came first and all that. And so I was doing the college, I dropped out, pursued DJing. So then DJing kind of took over control. And that's how I made a living since then. And that's what allowed me to, after, X amount of years, to start drawing and have free time to get my thoughts, my ideas going. And then I eventually started Pretty Done. And that was like 2011. And so that's what allowed me to have that luxury of time and to grow that. And I've just been feeding that for years without anyone really even knowing about it. Mm-hmm. And I would have mounds of paper in my apartment, just thousands of ideas, 100,000 characters, just stuff everywhere.
You know what?
A mess.
And I want to touch on this because I remember the last podcast that we did. You mentioned being a very physical drawer, right? You want a pen and pad, you want paper, you want to feel your materials. Do you feel that you definitely fall on one side of the spectrum when it comes to, like, for example, photography, digital versus analog, right? You either do darkroom or you do like the digital image and you edit on the computer, versus drawing, you do only digital, or you only do physical versus drawing on an iPad or something like that.
And it's not as easy.
Do you fall on one side? Do you favor one side or the other for both, or is it?
Well, I always say like go the hard route first, because if you're doing it for the long term and it's like something you really want to do for the rest of your life, because that's where you get the discipline, the foundation, and all the things that no one could take from you, and that is undeniable and unbreakable. Those type of things are like pen and paper drawings, like darkroom photography, doing things more analog, more old school, because anybody could do digital stuff. Like I think we spoke on the last podcast that was lost, but I avoided digital drawing forever, like a tablet or an iPad, because first of all, I started pen and paper and I wanted to get my lines right, my confidence, just everything down, because that's real drawing. And I always knew that drawing digitally or even shooting photography digitally is always going to come easier. And you could always get away with a lot of error, mistakes, bullshit.
Yeah, you can.
So, and that's always going to be there. That's the truth. Like I tell any creative is like, go the long route. Like even with DJing, get vinyl before you get Serato, and just understand what is what, and get your ears separated and learn how to mix and understand what's going on. Even if you do start with Serato, cover the laptop. Like there's a shortcut on there where you could hide the waveform.
Yeah.
So doing that, those type of things are where you do yourself a disservice if you cheat yourself on those little things, because
it's like working out and doing one less rep when you're like, oh, you could have just done one little more.
Or it's like doing pull-ups when you have like this thing assisting you doing a pull-up, like the leg
like
thing.
You can keep using it. You're still getting a pull-up done.
I need
but
that.
It's not 100%.
I would rather do one real pull-up than 10 assisted pull-ups.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say, and that's the same
There's
thing.
too many options for Command Z and the computer and
exactly,
all that stuff.
and it just shows. Same thing with fake followers on social media. You're cheating yourself. You're not even, you don't even know where you are.
Yeah.
So all those little things in life, working out, social media, art, creative, health, friendships, all these type of things, it's all the same thing. It's like, why do yourself wrong when you could just pace yourself, go the long route and get your shit down, and then no one could take that from you. And then go digital, or then go, whatever route it is, like, just because that will give you so much foundation and base that, that's going to come so easy for you. You know, like I said, if you start on vinyl and then you go to Serato, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, or drawing pen and paper or painting, and then you go to an iPad, you're like, oh, this is like ridiculous.
No shortcuts.
Yeah.
That's basically it, man. And it's real talk. It goes for business or anything. Like, people want that quick money, and it's like, it doesn't work like that, yo.
So does that mean we should be recording this podcast on tape?
Yeah. On analog.
You know what's crazy is every like creative outlet has multiple mediums, like the analog and the digital, right? Whether it's audio, you can do tape, or you can do like straight to like a recorder, right? Drawing, you can do physical paper, or you can do an iPad. Like,
yeah,
DJing, vinyl versus you said Serato.
Yeah,
you know.
But you want your like self-contained skills to be controlled by you.
Yeah.
Not have like, you don't want to fake yourself out. That's the whole point of it. Like with the fake followers, with drawing digitally only, or whatever it may be, it's like you're kind of faking yourself out. Like, realize, oh, I could really draw on an iPad, and then, or I could really paint on an iPad. Like, okay, let me get a canvas and real paint or a pen and paper, and let's see like if you could do the same thing. If you make an error, okay. You got to see those little life lessons you learn from those. Drawing for years and years, painting for years, is like, when you mess up, you realize the consequences, and that is how you become a better artist and a better person. You know, if you mess up a line, like, you could become a better person.
Yeah. Simple
things like that.
Yeah. I guess that's why it's always good to just try everything. You know what I mean? Like, and just try your best to start from like the foundation, like what is it? Like I can't even think of what I was about to say. But
traditional.
Yeah, the traditional way. I think that's the best way to start, just because even though we didn't do it with video, like, we weren't shooting film, but it's just,
and that's another point. And that's another point that I wanted. Well, actually, I didn't start with film, but I started with DV tape.
Me too, but that don't count. As fucking film.
For the podcast, you say?
No, for like in our personal.
Because, you know, back in the day with like home video cameras and stuff, like, those are technically tape. So it's like, you can't like delete it or anything. It's I guess you can rewind the tape and then record over it. But
I was gonna say, like, counter argument to the statement that you made, which I do agree with, is you want to, if you want to be passionate about something, definitely use a medium that's gonna challenge you and really, like, you know, make you a better artist at the end of the day for it. But I would say that I love having the digital option, because there's so many
digital option for what?
A digital option for everything, for drawing, for podcasting, to SD card, photography, digital, all that stuff. I love that, because there's a lot of people who would never have gotten into that realm of things had it not been that easiness of getting into it, right? Now the problem is that we do get a lot of people who get into that art form because it's so easy, and they suck, and then they blow up, and they become this, you know, they got multi-million dollar contracts.
That's just good marketing at that point,
right,
bro.
Right. But I will say, like for somebody like me, like, I would never have gotten so far into photography had it not been for digital cameras, right? Now that I know digital cameras, like, I'm like, oh, film looks pretty cool. Like, I would love to take some Polaroids or do something kind of like, you know, because I do, after doing it for so many years, you gain an appreciation and a love for the art that you're like, okay, I have a lot of things that help me out. Like, you know, if I take a photo, I have 15 stops of dynamic range. I could just make it a little darker, make it a little brighter here, and I can control everything in the computer after the fact. But what is it like to just say, I'm going to take a good picture as is, no retouching?
And it's also the curiosity of the artist, of the creative. Like, that's a big point of what I'm trying to get at, is because if you're, say, like you just said, you're introduced to digital photography or digital DJing or digital art or any of these things, that could be a way for you to get in. But you always want to be curious to go back to the timeline of where you even got to this point.
Right.
Like, who are you studying? Who inspires you? All those. If you go back to those legends in any field that it may be, you realize those are thorough, legit people that have done it the old school way, most likely, and have done it a way that you're probably not doing it. And then that's where I'm going to try it this way. Okay, I've always done digital. Now let me try to do it. Let me get some markers and do graffiti, real graffiti, or whatever, you know, any medium. But at the end of the day, it's like the curiosity of you and of the creative is like so important, because that's where you start finding like other people that have done it before. You're like, oh, I love this, and then I could study this person, and then he used this type of paint or this type of camera or whatever it may be. And I think that's if you're really about it. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're not about it, mm-hmm. then you could just stay surface level and stay simple and basic. Right. But if you really love it and you're doing it for long term and you want to know the history and all the ins and outs of it and find your, formula, then you have to go back to old school, 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
Yeah, it's a good challenge.
You know what?
Yes.
I'm going to cut you off because I
it.
didn't want to forget this. And I will forget it because we're on the road of like analog and digital and all that stuff. Do you prefer movies like old school movies where like people did the makeup and they did like the prosthetics, versus the movies that we have coming out now where it's like it's all digital? Like, you could tell like a Transformers movie, right? Everything's digital and like nothing was pretty much shot in camera, like everything. Or like the movie, have you seen the movie 300?
Well, let me just say this. I'm really stupid when it comes to movies. Like, I don't know shit.
Oh. Like, so you're fooled by the effects.
Movies are not... No. What I'm trying to say is movies aren't my thing. Movies aren't my thing. Like, I haven't seen a movie in years.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I mean, because a lot of people are mind blown by that because, like, film is art.
Yeah.
Right? And...
That's great. I've never heard anybody say that in my life.
I don't watch TV. I don't watch movies.
Yeah, like I get TV, but damn,
you have no Netflix, no Nothing. Hulu,
nothing.
Disney
no
Plus.
distractions, bro. I don't get distracted.
That's
I stay
insane.
so sharp, bro. Yeah,
because I love brain dead shit sometimes. I gotta watch my anime, bro.
Let's talk about that then. Why is it that you chose to remove all those distractions?
I just don't have time for bullshit, and I know what inspires me and what I like to listen to or watch, and it really is, music takes a big chunk of my time and my focus. I'm always, if it's making music or listening to music while I'm doing things or creating or whatever, music is like the soundtrack to a lot of my time. And then aside from that, it's really documentaries. I love like learning and understanding other people's perspectives and
podcasts too and all that.
I was just gonna say, documentaries and podcasts are like the only things I really watch. Mm-hmm. I mean, I watch a little news here and there.
Consider a documentary a movie.
No.
Oh, okay.
I would say documentaries and podcasts lie more on the surface of like reading. Versus watching,
learning,
because you're learning.
Yes.
What is the point of reading? Because you're trying to absorb knowledge, right?
That's true.
That's what when you listen to Joe Rogan and he's interviewing somebody talking about the ketogenic diet, and he's got Rhonda Kirkpatrick on, and they're just talking about ketones and the process of this and that, and how all these chemicals. You're learning something that you would not have learned somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Had you not taken the step to go ahead and watch that podcast. Same thing with a documentary. If you're doing a documentary, it's most likely for research purposes, like unless you're watching like
but even still, like think about a documentary about let's just say the guy who survived on a pirate ship, right? Or by pirates, right? Mm-hmm. Like to a point,
that's more of
the only thing you're learning is the fact of being maybe dealing with it. See what I mean? Like that's to a point, like entertainment.
There's definitely documentaries that are more just entertainment, like the one that came out with the cat killer guy. The guy there's a guy who was like killing cats and putting videos on Facebook and all that stuff. And I watched that documentary. It was all just kind of like, it's very interesting stuff.
Sounds dark.
Oh, like the guy.
It's very dark.
Like
I
watched the one about the Japanese guy who ate all the people and they released him. You ever see that on Vice? Yeah, he used to eat girls, like just eat them. And then like they released him because he was psycho. But it was on Vice, bro. It was crazy.
Okay, so like that stuff is more like, kind of like entertainment because you're like watching, but you're not.
Because you're not learning shit from that.
What are you really going to take from that? Like, what are you really going to apply?
See, but that's like a whole nother. That's another.
Don't eat people.
What's the word?
Please don't.
It's like psychology, right? Like you're learning, like, wow, that's someone else's mental. Like that's a brain that's doing that.
Yeah. That's what I think. I'm like, somebody literally
like has an appetite for skin.
Like just looks at somebody and goes,
it's crazy.
You know what? And I look at people like that, man, sometimes. And before, our first instinct is always to judge. Like, that dude's crazy.
You have to. That's human instinct to judge.
Because of all your experiences in life, that's what you have learned to be crazy, right? Like you would never do something like that. You would never do what they did. But then you also have to understand like what happened to them for them to think that's all right.
And that's what makes it interesting. That's why people get sucked in. That's psychology, because you realize like that is out there, and that's like a way of someone's thought process, and like that's a person that's doing these things. Like I think that's why people become, you know, the other day I was telling my friend, like I think it was like 2 Friday nights ago, I literally spent 7 hours down this dark YouTube hole of murder and
rabbit hole,
cop chases and death and
salvia trips,
crazy. Like I was just watching all this murder stuff, and like, you know, you could get on this spree of like, wow, this is so, like, it's fascinating, like watching like, wow, how they, like I watched this thing where they burned this girl's body and threw her in a dumpster in Miami, and it was just from nightclub night, and it was just like just weird circumstances that happen in the world that it makes you think, like in all the little details, like even, you know, there's just so many that like it kind of opens your mind to like the spectrum of human nature. And realizing like there's normal people, there's nice people, there's terrible people, there's insane people, there's people that eat people, there's people that kill their family because of $100, there's, you know, they kill their pets. Like just watching all these, you know, documentaries. This one night, I went to bed like just it affects your brain. It does, you know, and it's so interesting and like intriguing because it's like you never met anybody like this, you never seen anything like this, but you never probably will unless you watch that documentary. And it's real though. You know, the fact, like, it seems not real, but it's like when you see real footage of, you know, this person that, you know, hid the person in the hit a body in a oil bin in the, you know, in a field, or whatever it may be. It's like, wow, someone actually carried a dead body out there, chopped him up, put him in a friggin' thing. It's like, whoa. Like that, that's my nightmare, man. Is like nothing like Boogeyman's and Freddy Krueger's, but like my nightmare is being close to somebody like that, who you could, like, you wouldn't be able to tell that that's who they really were. Because what is it? They don't have remorse. They just like they don't know what that is. They're just like there was this one guy who apparently I think he caught his wife cheating or something, and he killed both of his little girls and his wife, and then he kind of like, I think he hurt himself. And then he made it look like somebody, that they had been attacked, but I think they did like some kind of like forensics, and they found like I think they found like something on his knife from his job or something, so they could tell like it was him, and it, like it's that's so back. Interesting though, right? Like it's all those little like the trace of details of cover up, like all those things can get. It's just like a rabbit hole of like, whoa, and then. You know, then there's like a left turn. Oh, the cousin or the sister or someone else has helped them bring this to this. All those little things to a story that equates to like someone doing something so horrendous is it's fascinating. It's sad. It's like such a mixed bag of emotions. If you're into learning that perspective of things, man, definitely check out Don't Fuck with Cats. That's the one I was telling you about, the cat killer guy. The reason that's very, very interesting to me, and I think it's like a 3-parter documentary, but the reason I watched all 3 episodes was because the guy, as messed up as what he did was, there was a little bit of genius behind what he did. You know, it's messed up what he did, but he wanted to get caught, and then he left clues behind for people to find him. That's where this whole documentary came about, because there was this Facebook group of people who love cats, and they found the videos, and like, we got to find this guy. And he would always leave clues on the internet where these people went out of their way. Like, they analyzed the video frame by frame, say, oh, there's a vacuum brand right here. They only sell that in this part of the United States. So they narrowed it down, and then dude, it goes crazy, but he left breadcrumbs for them. Whether it's like the file name of the video that he would upload. Like, it's crazy, bro. Like, they did some real work. And that seems like a made up thing, right? Yeah. And those things, there's hundreds, thousands of stories like that, even on more extreme, less extreme cases, but it's like so different than my brain and my world. That's why it's like sometimes I go down those deep holes of like, whoa, like I don't know anything about this. Like this is so different than what I do and like where I am in my life that it becomes interesting because it's so contradictory to who I am and what I do that it makes it interesting. I'm like, whoa, this is so different than my world.
Have you ever noticed that when you watch something like that, your art is affected by it in a more different way, where it's like you notice like, whoa, why would I draw something like that? Because I would never do something like that before. You know, like has it ever affected your art personally?
No, not that I think of. I don't do it too often. I force myself not to go down those holes because it really does, like, it's just, it has a net. It
definitely has a bad energy.
It's a negative.
To it.
It's like a negative.
Weird, you're like, you feel weird after it. You're like, fuck, I feel a little weird.
Yeah.
I don't, like, it's not the end of the world, but it's like, yeah, I'm definitely.
And then you start feeling sketchy. Like, you hear something.
You're
you know?
paranoid. You're like, I do that so much.
It definitely will mess with you.
Yeah.
You know, that night. But, you know, when you sleep, next day, it's back to normal.
It's like being desensitized, right? Like, that's how.
We are completely desensitized, man.
Yeah. Because, like, there's people who see killings every day, like, in certain countries, and they're used to it. They're
or cops or undercover agents.
They're used to it. They're, like, LA's getting like that, I guess, because with the homeless bodies that are just appearing, because, you know, so many homeless people now. Like, people in LA are like, oh, yeah, another dead body.
And we're desensitized to a lot of stimulation in Vegas.
A lot.
You know, if you go to a farm in Iowa, you come to Vegas.
Oh, it's a different world.
It's a different world.
Yeah. First of all, everything's open 24 hours.
Just the energy, the electricity, the atmosphere. Yeah.
Plus, you live in a city where people come to be their worst selves, right? Like they literally come with the intention.
Or their best selves.
Well, I'm saying like people who come on the strip and they want to drink and they want to party and like they come to do the things that they don't want to do back home, right? They want to go to the strip club or maybe they want to get a hooker or whatever it is. They come to Vegas because they want to gamble.
Let loose.
They want to let the sins out, you know? So it's a very interesting perspective.
But to us, it's just another.
But to us, like, dude, I go down this. If I have a gig on the strip, I'm just like, I can't wait to get home, man.
I'm like, I hate this place so much. Right. It's too busy down there. Too corporate.
It's where a lot of the money is, though.
Yeah,
dude, I used to film for Sapphire, like their pool club.
I've never been there.
Always just naked women everywhere, bro. Like I'm so desensitized to it at this point.
I mean, we all got nipples, bro.
But I'm saying, like, I don't. There's a lot of people that I know personally, like, that don't live in Vegas, like my uncles or cousins from out of town, and they'll see like a photo shoot or a video shoot that they, whoa, you were there? That's crazy. That's insane. That's so hot. I'm like, bro, I don't care. Like, it doesn't, like, I don't see it that way anymore. I'm more focused on my control of the camera, what I'm filming.
Like if you did a documentary
job, I'm thinking, you know, while I'm doing it, so I don't even see it anymore.
It's like if you draw on like a naked female, like you're not there like, oh,
you're not there to perv around.
Yeah, you're like, no, I really want my art to. Didn't you just you did a drawing on somebody, right? How is that like hard to do because it's like 3-dimensional? Or are you used to that now?
It's different. Yeah, it's not obviously like just a flat piece of paper or canvas, but yeah, you get the feel for it. You know, I could paint on anything. It doesn't matter.
Like you paint on a whole human's body?
Yeah, I paint on this whole girl's body. You can see it on my Instagram.
What was it for?
It was just a creative photo shoot I wanted to do, and it was really cool. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, she has a great body, and she's a great model, just like natural model. And
you got to definitely build that trust with somebody when you do things like that, right? Like they have to trust you as an artist.
Well, for sure, yeah.
You know?
I mean, same thing with photography, you know, shooting girls and stuff. It's like, yeah, you want to be professional and, trust and just do the job and keep it simple like that, you know?
Yeah. There's a lot of cats out here who ruin it for everybody else, man. You know, like you got those Harvey Weinsteins and, you know,
egg, bro.
Always somebody, bro.
It goes hand in hand.
This conversation's been going a lot of different ways, hasn't it?
It's good, man.
I'm excited back. I think the last episode we started talking about caveman drawings and whatnot. I'm kind of happy this kind of took the same similar turn.
Is it similar?
It's kind of similar because we're going like off rails and we're talking about things that don't necessarily have to do with like drawing or DJing. I like that.
Cool.
Do you going back to the whole drawing thing though? Like, do you do commissions? I forgot.
Oh yeah,
you do commit like so somebody can hire you to do a drawing, right? Yep. Do you ever do you ever let them like take control of the project, or do you say like you're gonna hire me? This is what I'll do.
Yeah, you have complete
complete control, but you can kind of give me an idea of what you want.
No, I like it. Just depends. Obviously, it's all situational on the the project or the commission. It's like depends what I'm drawing. If I'm, am I doing a painting? Am I doing a mural? Am I doing a logo? Am I doing a flyer? Whatever it may be. It's depends on that. But I'm, a lot of art. There's a lot of artists that are like, I'm doing it this way, and this is what you get, and sorry, or whatever it may be. Just the attitude is just really closed or rigid. I'm more flexible. I'm like, I want them to be happy, and I want to be happy. So yeah, like I want to hear what they want and what they whatever they're feeling or what they're envisioning, and then I'll absorb that, put it through my filter and my style, and then get to work. But I haven't had any real issues. I mean, I've had a couple things where I've done a bunch of mock-ups and drawings for people that have kind of made me do more work than I should have for nothing, but you learn from that.
Oh, you'll always have those clients, man.
What do you learn from that? Contracts or?
Well, you just learn like it's a lot of being an artist, a musician, a creative in general is like reading people. That's a big thing. Like if I'm rocking a room DJing, like body language, age range, just little details.
So you can kind of tell if someone's gonna flake on you or someone's gonna like completely just
like
not be a good fit to work with.
You just can read people's energy, their thoughts. Like a big thing is like how they think, and also just how professional they are. Like. So like that's this scenario that I'm referring to. It's just like it was just a lot of email back and forth. Change this, do this. I want this color. I want like a lot of that and just a lot of bullshit. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, like now I could, if that same situation approached itself, I would kind of see through that a lot quicker. Mm-hmm. First, like do 7 mock-ups for free. I would do 1, and then maybe 2, and then after that, you're not getting anything else for free.
Yeah, and it's gonna start costing after.
After that, we're gonna start really like making legit steps versus like just like, oh, let's just throw ideas around. So yeah, just like becoming more and more like
because you got to inform your clients, and that's the one thing I still haven't really truly learned a lot of the times. But man, it's hard to do. But this is with photography and videography. Like you got to explain to the nitty gritty, and sometimes you even do that, and they're like, oh no, you never said that, and then you're like, that's why you start doing contracts.
That's why it's super important to just set the expectation.
Yeah, because people will 100% be like, you never said that.
Yeah, that's
why contracts are very important. I've learned that the hard way.
See, I agree on that. That's true. I'm just like I'm not as business minded maybe as you or other people. So I'm more of like more creative, more lax about all that. Like I'm not like, before we do anything, here's a contract.
Yeah,
that's not my style at all. Maybe one day I'll have like an agent or manager that does that for me.
Yeah,
that's a goal. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna kind of go about it more of like an intuitive process, and kind of feel them out and see what makes sense. But I think it's definitely I'm way more sharper and more clear about understanding the dynamic between myself and a customer or client. Mm-hmm. Just because of doing it so much lately, and also like my time is valuable, and that's a big part of it. Like people don't realize like all the editing and revisions and all those little things that's time and
using your creative juices.
Exactly.
I put money on that. That shit ain't, you can't just grab that from thin air. It's not like doing calculations and shit.
Yeah,
it's literally you have something that a lot of people don't have.
And I think, and one thing I've done more and more every month and every year is literally just like being as blunt and honest up front.
Mm-hmm.
Which is perfect.
It's everything in life, like relationships, friendships, business. You need to just throw it all on the table so that everybody understands like the deck of cards and, okay, this is going to cost me this amount of time. All the things that are meaningful to this situation is like they need to be just laid out, and then so we all are on the same page. That's a big thing,
I still swear like some people just don't listen. They're like, no, you never said that.
Tell me if you agree with me on this one. Do you believe that working with people is an art form in itself?
100%.
Yes. There we go. Now the reason I'm gonna say it is because depending on how you phrase things, how you treat your client and the sort of client that you get, clients range so much, man. Right? You'll have a client that pays you $5,000 and they want no revision. Like they'll take whatever you give them because they hired you, they paid that much, they know what you're worth, right? But then you'll have somebody who gives you $50 and they want 10 different revisions. They want it 3D, they want to redo the whole thing, and they want to squeeze every dime out of you, right? So I definitely think, and it comes back to you also, the art form aspect of it, because you get to pick and choose your clients, right? You're never, as a freelancer, as a creative person, you're never obligated to work with anybody like that. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of freelancers kind of lack in, is they take every job because they feel like they have to. They have to take every job that comes their way. But I think that you can be. That's the beauty of being a freelancer, and you can pick your projects, right?
Very true. I think another big thing that I've learned, and I think anyone should try this and get to that point where you can be yourself in any situation. If it's like you just said, high clientele, low clientele, middle, whatever it is, it could be the biggest or the smallest person that you're trying to do business with or work with. But at the end of the day, if you're yourself, that's something you could always count on, and it won't waver. Like, I'm going to treat this person so differently than this person. Yeah. Like, I don't like that. Like, I think you should be yourself in all situations, because at the end of the day, that's where balance and consistency comes in. And also, you'll never trip on yourself.
Yeah. You can burn yourself out too.
Exactly. No, I think what he means is more like you'll never be confused as to what it is you're supposed to do when you're working with a client. Like, so for example, if I choose to do a photo shoot with somebody for free, right, and then I do somebody else with it that I charge them $200-$300, I got to treat them the exact same way. Otherwise, it comes back on me. Like, why am I treating you different? Why am I treating you different because you're paying me a little bit more? How do I quantify how good I treat you? Like, it doesn't make sense. So when you're yourself, you don't have anything to worry about. You
and
you would handle that situation.
I say like that's when you can tell if that thing is for you, because like even if I charge a homie or somebody a little bit cheaper than usual, I still, like, in my head I'm like, man, I'm gonna barely try because I'm mad. I'm angry. But when I get there, I go all in. And then I always have way more footage than I'm supposed to. I'm like, fuck. And then I have all this shit to edit, and I'm like, well, see, that's a good thing because I'm passionate about it, right? Like, I had a great time doing it. I try new things. I challenge myself. But that's where you can really sit down and talk to yourself, like, is this for you? Like, can you sit there and, like, get paid nothing and do it and still have a good time? That's, like, literally how it is.
And you doing that favor for your friend, you don't want to jeopardize your quality because you don't know who's going to see that or where that's going to go.
Oh, that's a good point.
You can be like, I'm not going to do it, like, try hard today. But then it's like, somebody sees it that had money and that could have got you on, is not going to be like.
And that goes back to consistency. That's such a big thing in my life, and it should be in anyone's life that's like dedicated and has a craft or a passion. Like, consistency in health, creativity, whatever it may be. It's like, it's so vital. You can't get far without it.
I kind of like your style, Chuck, because you kind of like, I noticed something about you. You always set the bar super low.
What do you mean?
Every time he's about to work with somebody, like, oh no, I suck. This guy's actually better. Oh no, you don't want to hire me. I suck. He'll always like downplay himself, right?
Yeah, I downplay.
And then put a point where they hire him. Whatever he does is incredible.
It could be trash. They'll probably be like, "Whoa, this is amazing." That's funny. Why you call me out, bro?
It sounds like you're the best.
But it's also
the salesman. You're the best salesman of yourself.
It's also like a humble brag on his behalf, though, because he does. First of all, he does get a lot of clients, and he always does kill it.
Nice.
So, he doesn't like saying that he's good.
In my head, it's hard for me to be like, because I compare myself too damn much. Because there's fucking
to other videographers.
Yeah, and no matter what, as much as like I compete with myself realistically, I'm still always like, fuck, there's some monsters out there.
Of course,
I'm like,
dude.
I'm like, in my head, like it instantly goes to that. And I'm like, but once I get in the groove and once I'm there filming, I'm completely just focused on myself, and knowing like, okay, this is reality now.
Yeah,
there's nobody else out there. They hired me, so I'm gonna do my best. Yeah, have a good time, be the best I can, and learn something.
Exactly, because by you being envious or jealous of this guy in New York who has better equipment, has a whole team, and is doing like superior work that you think, that is not going to do anything for you.
It literally does nothing for you.
It's gonna dig you deeper in your hole.
Exactly, and distract you. Meanwhile, like you just said, once you get there on site and you get the project going, you're back to your formula, your flow, what you do, and you get the job done, and you do your best, and make it happen. But I think it's good to sometimes
challenge, because it's a competition, like friendly competition. I don't fucking know.
No, you want other people in the world. That could be locally, but or wherever, that inspire you, that are like
to try
you look
harder.
up to, or you're like, whoa, this guy's work. Like, there's so many DJs and artists and photographers. I'm like, this is just next level.
Yeah, some of those DJs, I'm like, holy shit.
But there's just levels to levels. That's just life. There's levels to life levels. Like, that is so real, because people probably look at me or you and be like, wow, you guys are doing amazing work. I mean, and they look at us like those people that we look at, whatever.
That's true. Everything.
So there's so many different layers and levels to life that I think you just have to kind of, it's also monkey DNA that we have. We're monkeys, right? Like, we compare, contrast. We stop we get at a stoplight, we see a Mercedes, we're in a Honda, we see a Rolls, we see a whatever, and we say, oh, why does he have that? Why is she so hot? Why, like all these Instagram, all these comparing and contrasting. That's just human nature, because you care, you want better things, you want a better lifestyle, you want to be better, all these things. Like, it's just part of our DNA.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure cavemen were looking at motherfuckers with like all the fruits and stuff around them.
That was like the biggest stick in town. It's bullshit.
I didn't go there, but I was just saying, like, oh, look at all the food he has. Look at all the shit he has. Look at the territory he has.
Yep.
I want that territory.
And then he might rob him. He might try to replicate him. He might try to do different techniques.
It's just our time deals with society, what has put into our heads with just being sexy, having nice cars,
appeal,
like, and it is what it is. Like people always say, like, oh man, I wish we were back in time, but we're not. We're in the now. This is what it is.
Yeah.
Money is lifeblood. And I'm not trying to be like a businessman. It's just, this is the society we live in. We don't live in a time where we can go.
Money is lifeblood?
I believe that. Like,
money
just like
is lifeblood? What does that mean?
Because
you need money to be alive in this world. Is that what you mean?
That was okay.
like legit, you need it. You can't run away.
Yes.
You can't run away because land is owned by somebody because bullshit. Like,
the whole entire world is monetized. Even if you become a homeless person and you don't want to conform to the rules, if you're a homeless person, you're still going to depend on other people's donations to get something to eat, right?
Money to survive, yes. You can't deny that.
Not,
yes.
I'm not trying to like, trust me, I hate money. I think it's like, it's so fucked. But we don't live in a time where we can like barter still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that would be tight if I can be like, hey, I'll do this for you. I'll do that for you.
But we still live it. We still do that now.
Yeah, I guess
degree, like,
it's just the money part is just what makes me mad, because it's like it's a piece of paper that somebody we all said like, this is worth something. When I give you corn for your vegetables or for broccoli, that's like
exchange.
It's real exchange of like nutrition's like this is survival now. Like I can survive off that. It always gets me mad because somebody took water too and said, I'm going to charge on this. Water is like literally the most important thing for a human.
Yeah.
But somebody was like,
here's the thing though,
this is mine.
And I'll combat that. I don't think they're charging for the water. I think they're charging for the fact that they went ahead.
Purification?
No, not even that. We're charging for the convenience of them bringing it to you in a package that you can just take whenever you want. Versus you, imagine if water is free, Chuck, go down the river and drink it. Like, you know what I mean? You're not paying for the product of the water. You're paying for the packaging. You're paying for them thinking of the fact that we got to purify this and make it something that people can trust.
It's always so weird on just like, people were like, I stepped here first, so this is my land.
That'd be tight if the government just gave out water bottles for free at the store.
But it's that whole thing. You can't cry about it because it is what it is at this point. And like,
it's a to be where we are, like, you have to have something that keeps things in line, and unfortunately it's, money. It's
a double-edged sword. I'll say this. The ugly thing about it is you need it and you need to make it, right? But let me ask you this. If you could, would you live your entire life on the barter system of like, hey, I'll draw you a design, something for your company if you feed me for a month, or if you give me a place to stay for 6 months, like I'll do this amount of work.
That sounds fun.
Would you do that? Or what's the point of doing that when you can get further ahead charging money for it And then also, if you think about it, if you always barter, if you live your life bartering, you'll never get ahead than what you have on your plate right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was talking more bartering back in the day, like when we all lived on farms and we all were doing crops. But somebody had the technique of building.
But that crop, that corn you're talking about, that is the money. There's the value, right? It's tangible.
But I'm saying, I'm pointing it that money is nothing. You can't eat money.
No.
Right? You can't.
You can burn it.
But with crops, if I'm selling crops and like, even if you have building, I'm like, I'll build your roof. I'll fix your roof because it broke down in that tornado. So just give me some crops and I'll build that roof. See, that's what I wish it was like, but it's not. So I'm going to get over it.
But you could do that today.
We still do that with family. Like I'll tell like my uncle, hey, come help me cut down this tree, and I'll give you guys.
But still, no, you can't, because you still have to pay bills. You still have to buy food. You still have to buy water. You see what I mean? You
could do some bartering though. Like for instance, if I do like a design or something for like a coffee place, I don't mind being paid in coffee.
See, I don't, because I'm like, I can't do video.
If you give me a free year of coffee, that's a lot of money.
And now you need to find coffee, water, and then some food place. And then be like, yeah, you could be good. That's true. You could be like, I'll do a meal for your restaurant, but you could feed me for the whole year.
Like it's like partial bartering, obviously. Like
No, you for sure can barter still. For sure.
Even a weed company. I don't mind doing weed graphics for some free weed. That's fair.
Have you ever heard of Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you into it at all, or are you just not really?
Not for me.
Okay, because that's another.
It's interesting, but it's not for me.
There's another way with Bitcoin that could, I think, benefit a lot of artists, just because of the fact that you no longer. And this for artists who create content online. Obviously, this is like it's a very digital thing, right? But for artists who create content online, instead of you getting paid for ads on your videos, when people hate ads, you can get paid for the people who actually watch your videos in micropayments. So, like, let's say I spent a whole 24 hours watching your videos on your website, right? Yeah. Instead of you having to put ads and find sponsors and then work and then them trying to figure out, okay, what's the cost per minute, I can actually literally pay you out of my digital wallet for every second that I spend watching your content. And even if I spend all day watching your content, like 24 hours, you maybe get like 5 cents for it from me. But it's value, right? Like I'm giving you that value from me watching your content. And that's the beauty of Bitcoin that I like. That's the aspect where I'm like, okay, well, the micropayments aspect could be tight. Because if you think about it, it'd be the same as if you did go through a sponsor and then they paid you for the ads, right? If you have 12 views on your video, you're not going to get that much at the end of the day. But if you're somebody who's getting millions and millions and millions of views, those 5 cents add up, right? Like,
yeah, but when you're at that point, you're above those 5 cents. You're on a different level. Like you're not thinking like, oh, I want to add up all these pennies. I have millions of views. I'm thinking like way bigger and on a different scale. I would think,
Well,
like,
it's going to multiply. It's going to multiply.
Sure, but what I'm trying to say is like those little micro donations or whatever you're referring to. Like I feel like that's like very beginner to mid-range stuff. Like
nobody would be donating out of their like it wouldn't be like I'm going to give you 1 penny or 2 pennies. It would be something that's automatically calculated and given to you based on what the value of that is.
How would that work?
It's
so like
the same way ads work right now, but cutting out the middleman. It's pretty much the same.
But
thing.
would I have to give them the permission to take out micro bits out of my thing? Okay. So it's like a site. Okay, I get it.
You'd basically be
automated.
Yeah.
Which is tight. I really think that's a cool little thing for, like you said, startup people. You know what I mean? Because like stream it. What is that outside? Stream.io. Stream.io. Steam it. So there's like a site where everybody's getting paid. The content creator to the commenter to like everybody's getting paid on this
to
site.
be part of the community.
Yeah, because you can put money wherever you want, which is tight. Because like if you had a site where you put in $20 to start, and then it micro takes like a 1/100th of a penny out.
Right.
And it starts giving to people you're watching and all that.
You start gaining value and money for being part of a community. And that's what I like.
It's more community based, driven.
And that's one of the beauties of cryptocurrencies is the incentivization of then cleaning up the internet. Because now you got YouTube, right? You upload a video, you put all this work into it, you think it's a work of art,
right?
And then you get somebody who comments, "This sucks ass."
But that's,
First of all, you don't know who that is.
And you can't stop that.
Right. Right. But what if you lived in a world with cryptocurrency where then, in fact, if it was a value-based thing, they get more money from leaving a positive comment than, then they get something taken away from them for leaving a bad comment.
This is such like an extrapolation of an extrapolation. I feel like it's so like an extension of an extension of an extension. Like you're talking about like thinking of making money off of positive comments. Mm-hmm. That's bizarre.
There's an infrastructure for it.
Sure, but like, what the hell are you thinking about, dude? That's crazy to be even thinking about. That's what your goal, or that's like a part of your attention. Yeah, that should never be a part of your attention.
How do you mean?
Like, I'm never thinking like, okay, I'm making this content and I'm thinking about, okay, I need more positive comments.
Oh, no.
That's what's going to create value, right? What you're saying?
Yeah, I didn't mean it as in like an artist, like you just want more value. I'm saying to clean up the negativity on the internet, because there's so much negativity already on the internet, and anybody can leave anything. Yeah. There's a little bit more accountability to it. And that's what I believe in. I believe in being an accountable person. Like I wouldn't behave on Twitter online
how you wouldn't in real life.
How I wouldn't in real life.
You're saying for those fucking trolls who are just like,
but dude, there's probably a 12-year-old, and like it's one of those things. Like that's just part of the openness of the internet that is inevitable and
it's just unstoppable. Like psychos. There's just psychos
the
out
internet
there.
1.0.
I mean, but it's like going outside and cleaning the curbs.
No,
it's like,
imagine,
do we really need to clean the curbs?
Imagine if the internet was like the way the real world was. Imagine if the real world was like the internet, where anybody can get in the car and drive it, and then if they hit you or they crash you, they can just disappear. Doesn't work, right? That wouldn't work.
There's too much structure.
It's a chaotic world to live in.
Yeah, because there's insurance and things.
Look at him, it's gonna happen, right?
What? He said, "Look at him, it's gonna happen, right?" I do see Keem's point, like, and I definitely think it's gonna have a thing, but there's always gonna be that balance of negativity that comes in.
I also think we have bigger fish to fry than like a couple negative comments on each video, whatever's going on out there, like. Those little haters or people that have more time on their hands.
Nothing else to do.
Yeah, it's like
they literally sit there and they do it because they know it annoys somebody.
Yeah, or they're just it's always about they have nothing going on in their life. That's where it starts. Like they have no value or substance to their world, and they're like, okay, this person's doing something, let me bring them down or whatever it may be. Who cares? I think the best approach is just you do what you do, and you don't let anybody waver your flag. Like that's the only way to approach life.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I agree. As an artist, for sure.
Take constructive criticism, but fuck the haters. I don't got no haters because I don't do anything. But
Chuck hasn't posted on Instagram in 3 years. Has it been 3 years already?
Probably longer than that now.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't like it?
I'm just over it. I was getting good business, so I was always getting like referred, and I didn't have to use it no more. So I was like, I'm not using this shit no more.
So you're over Instagram. What are you on?
Nothing.
You're just like local only.
I hit up, like I use Facebook to talk to my homies, like to go play games. Like, you guys want to play a game? Or I hit up my brother or sister, like that's it. Or family. And then Instagram,
or YouTube,
same thing.
He'll stay on YouTube watching videos.
I'll just tell like people, like if they see me and they like my photos that I was taking at an event or video, I'll just be like, yeah, just hit me up on Instagram. I just don't post.
I think it's definitely we're in such a weird age where you have to wear so many hats in any field to be relevant, to gain momentum and traction, and also to have any type of success. You have to do so many things. Like it's just the nature of.
Yeah, people don't do what I'm doing. I'm just doing it because I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't need to do it. Like,
you have the luxury of not caring.
Some people do it. I think I'm definitely leaving money on the table for sure.
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure I could have got so many more clients, but
yeah,
I don't care.
But you have a lot of the same clients, right? Like monthly, right? Like you already work with like X amount of clients, so I'm a
little comfy, right? For sure.
But it also aligns with your goals of what you're trying to do. You're trying to,
and they refer me way more than what my Instagram would get me,
right?
Because every time,
or you don't know.
Oh yeah, see, yeah,
right. You don't know.
Yeah,
someone from another country could have found you.
Don't ever count out social media. I just don't do it.
Yeah, and it's work, but it's work because you have to, make good quality. You have to hashtag. You got to put it out. You got to do all. It's work, bro. It's
Remember back in the day when we used to run the Indie Flare Instagram page,
Oh
bro?
my God, bro.
We used to have a video production company called Indie Flare, and we would do mini vlogs.
Yeah, and like,
And we would like design the feed, but like also like design every thumbnail for every tile, and then like it'd be like a 1 minute vlog we'd have to do every couple days. It was exhausting, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't I could imagine that would be fun if that was your full time thing, if that's what you did, right? But man, it's like a side.
that's
thing.
why I'll never get mad at somebody who hires out a social media person, like to delegate that out, because you have to use your mental. It's another creative thing, because you're like,
work, it's
what's the
time.
details?
Right.
What do I want to hashtag? What time do I want to post? What is the content that's being posted? And it's just like,
Editing. Yeah.
see, my brain's I'm already sleeping just thinking about it.
It's work. It's work.
And that's just one platform. Think about if you're on Twitter,
TikTok.
Yeah. So we talked about this last one, right? Like
TikTok.
you could be on all these platforms, putting out the same content, and maybe it might pop on this one. It might pop on this one. Who knows? And I express my approach to like being very concentrated versus like I want to try all these platforms and just repost everything. And it goes back to what you do and what platform your work shines the best on, I think.
Oh yeah, I remember talking about the whole TikTok debate of it.
because you were
Would
like,
you ever consider putting your work on TikTok?
Sure.
Right.
did you do it yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
I still haven't done anything with TikTok, man.
Yeah, I haven't even been on it.
It's its own platform, man, and you got to figure out how to make it its own, right?
Until I start seeing like a lot of people doing what I do on there, and it's like changing
Well,
the
all I
world.
gotta say-
Look up a hashtag. Look up a hashtag.
Well,
What's a hashtag?
No
in your-
lie, bro. What I can say right now from the last guest we had on, who's basically pretty big in the TikTok world. You know what I mean? Like
She got 2 million
she's
followers
viral.
on TikTok, man.
uh,
It's crazy.
Wait, first off, like, are those real people?
Yeah.
Good. What's crazy
They're
is like
all real.
they're kids
2
though.
million real people.
Do you
Yeah.
see the thousands of
But
comments on her videos?
the
Those could
only
be
way
bots,
she
though.
realistically makes money is because there's no such thing as monetization yet on there. It's still a new platform. They're still trying to learn it, and there's probably like
She kept it super real with her. She was like, "I got 2 million followers.
I don't got
the biggest."
anything.
She's like, "The biggest offer I've gotten is like $500 for a post."
no $50.
Oh, $50?
She made $500 on a donation, or like through donation, because you can live stream and get donations, kind of like Twitch or Mixer or YouTube. So that's how she makes her money. Is she does the live
Cam
streams.
girl.
Yeah, basically.
See, we're all talking the same language,
Yeah.
but with different vernacular.
Yeah, but she don't.
That's what it all really is, though.
I think she does
What's that?
drawing.
Give me a hashtag real quick that you would use if you would put to post on TikTok, or maybe one that you use currently on
Live art?
Instagram.
Yeah, live art,
Oh, we're doing some research right
We're
now.
doing it right now, man.
cartoon art.
Looking for hashtags. Here we go, bro. There's 3.1 million
And what does that mean?
posts. Like people are
Okay.
posting.
Cool.
So you wouldn't be the first one. So think about that. Look at
Nice.
dude's getting down on there.
I like it.
See, what is that style called? I wonder if it has a style. Like a
That's kind of what David Garibaldi
That's
does.
like
speed painting.
speed portrait. Yeah, speed
People
portrait.
who are listening to the audio have no idea what's happening right now.
But that's really
Yeah.
hard because he's using
Yeah.
both hands.
52,000 likes.
You know, ambidextrous.
Ambidextrous.
Let's say it together now.
What's up with you in that word?
Ambidextrous.
Ambidextrous.
That's the word of the day, man.
You make it sound like a dinosaur.
Damn, we're already at the hour and a half mark for this podcast,
That was
man.
good, y'all.
That was a good conversation,
That was a good
man. We
flow.
went to a lot of different... Got dark for a minute, but I like it, man.
Go real dark.
Thank you for joining us, man, on the podcast. We look forward to seeing your TikTok coming soon. 2020, it's a new year.
I have lots of big things going on this year, man. I'm
Oh
excited.
yeah, do you want to mention anything that's going on? On the last one we did that messed up, you mentioned that you were doing your first workshop, right? How did that go, real quick?
It was really great. It was 2 days ago, and there was about 11 students.
Nice.
And yeah, it was fun. We painted live, showed them some stuff. We made some paintings.
Are you planning to do any more soon?
Yeah, I have 2 more workshops. One with Ferguson's downtown Vegas.
Dope.
That's going to be at Future Makers in February 15th, I think.
Sick.
Do you have is there like a sign up page or we can post, or?
I would just go to my Instagram
Okay.
and just follow me, and you could see everything I'm doing. I'm doing a really big, I don't know if I should announce it, but I'm going to.
Go for it, man. Now's the time.
You ever heard of One Drop?
One Drop. I think I have heard of it before.
It's like a charity, big charity event, I guess, company, and we're going to be doing this large event in March.
Okay.
Where I'm going to be doing probably my biggest painting ever. It's going to be 30 feet by 10 feet.
On a building?
It's going to be, we're thinking big canvas sheets.
And then just putting them all together?
Yeah.
And are you doing this by yourself?
Yeah.
30 feet by 10 feet? That's bigger than this house.
I'm using a big spray pump.
Yeah.
Like an
By
extinguisher?
crank. Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
How long are you giving yourself to complete it?
Have you ever done that?
Nope.
Are you going to practice?
I'm going to figure this all out.
Because that's a fucking... Because I've seen people... Well, they fucking were just ignorant with it. But yeah, I've seen people...
Just ruining buildings, right?
Yeah, I've seen it. You've seen it on Vegas. I was like... I'm cool when it's artistic, but when you just write like BCK or something,
ridiculous.
I hate y'all.
That's
so
not
much.
art, dude. Like, I hate that aspect of graffiti. I love graffiti, obviously.
What is that called again? I literally, it's been so long. Bombing. Yeah.
Bombing.
No bueno.
It's just like you're ruining shit.
It's super disrespectful,
Don't
bro.
ruin shit, man.
It's like make art, not ruin things. Like, it's silly. It's just it's immaturity.
I feel like that's how photography is, when people just take pictures of naked girls. Like, it's not really art, man. It's gonna catch because you got a naked
There is
girl
some
in your
good
photo.
art.
There are some good
There
ones,
are some really good
But
ones.
I know what you mean.
But you know what I mean. All right.
Well, they have other intentions.
Yeah, of course.
Little pervs.
Clout chasers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Or that, yeah, I guess. Harvey Weinstein's of the world.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Dope, man. I look forward to seeing that and checking it out and seeing how it comes out, man. That's dope.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
We're going to put all your information in the description for the bio, for iTunes and Spotify. Thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate
Again.
your time.
Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you for like agreeing to do like a second one because technical difficulties last time.
I gave you guys a second chance. You're worth it, man.
Oh,
Hey.
You guys are
bro.
worth it.
All right, man. Thank you for joining us, and everybody tune in. We'll catch you guys in the next morning dinner.
Peace.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen. In the goddamn refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.